So I saw Begonia, and we have to talk about it. Okay, so I'm still trying to mull this movie over. I'm still thinking about it. I felt like this movie had a lot to chew on, a lot to offer, and I don't know exactly. I think that this movie is only going to get better in my mind over time. But as of right now, I quite enjoyed it. And I will just put out there, this video will be talking about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this video. Let's just lay the groundwork here. So the movie, it's about these two guys played by Jesse Plemons and Aiden Delbus. And they're kind of conspiracy theorists, right? They're a little bit out there. You get that from the very beginning. And they think that the CEO of this big pharmaceutical company is an alien. The CEO, played by Emma Stone, is kidnapped by these two, and she's subjected to this intense questioning by these two to figure out if she is in fact an alien. And so that's basically the premise of the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's really out there. I mean, it's different than basically anything I've seen before, and I think a lot of people will feel that way. But I wanted to try to get at what was like the point of this movie. Like, well, I watched this movie, and it's kind of bizarre, and it's out there, and it's interesting because it's hard to pinpoint it. It's hard to label it. Well, it's a comedy, but it's like a very dark comedy. But it's not like, it shouldn't be marketed as a comedy. Like, I saw Emma Stone promote it as a comedy. That's a little bit of a misrepresentation of what the movie actually is. Again, so it's not like totally a comedy, but it's like not like a horror movie, even though it has some horror elements. I mean, Google says it's a comedy sci-fi, and I think labeling it as sci-fi kind of takes away. Labeling it as sci-fi actually kind of ruined the twist for me, because I was like, oh, well, she's just going to end up being an alien, right? I mean, I still, even though I was pretty confident that she was going to end up being an alien, the movie does a really good job at making you think, oh, well, is she actually? Like, I don't even know. Because it is the obvious twist, is the obvious thing to make her be the alien. But the movie does a really great job at making you question, well, is she actually? I don't know. Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, they both do an amazing job at this. Truly fantastic. Emma Stone's probably the greatest contemporary actress we have. With all that said, I wanted to talk about the politics in this movie. Because initially you're watching this movie, right? And you think, okay, well, so it's going to be more about like miscommunication, maybe like echo chambers, conspiracy theories, basically this idea that like we're all trapped in our little bubble. And because of that, it creates these maybe violent interactions with other people. If the movie wanted to go that way, I think it still would have been an effective movie. It would have been interesting. I think that would have been, a great direction to take the movie. The movie doesn't do that, right? Because they choose to have Emma Stone actually be the alien, therefore validating Jesse Plemons' character's theory makes the message shift, right? It flips it on its head. So no longer is it about like the miscommunication or like conspiracy theories and all that. Because now you take a step back and you realize, oh no, this movie's about the rich and the powerful gaslighting the poor and the weak, right? You have Emma Stone. She's like the CEO, right? The whole entire movie, she's telling Teddy, Jesse Plemons' character, saying, hey, I'm not an alien. I'm not an alien. And even when they admit, oh, hey, maybe I am an alien, they don't do it with like conviction. They're not actually like admitting to it. And so I think that that's what this movie is about. It's about how maybe what's wrong with our society is with the rich and powerful. But the rich and powerful are just gaslighting the poor into thinking, no, we're not the problem. We're not the problem. It's not this. I mean, and the problems are shown between like for example, his mother, right? Mother trying that experimental drug from this company, ends up putting her into a coma. Ultimately, she becomes a casualty in the company's crusade to get cash. She's caught in the crossfire between the company and its profits. The movie also touches on how the company has had a negative effect on the environment, or like with the bees, killing the bees off. And, the movie's called Bugonia, which basically it stems from this Greek myth where like that bees would be born from like a dead cow, and basically just this idea of like rebirth. I think there's a lot of room for discussion on what exactly the movie was getting at with the title Bugonia, with the bees, with the theme behind that, having Teddy have an apiary, these sorts of things. I think one could watch this movie and extrapolate that the companies are the ones actually doing the damage to the climate. I mean, I think that that's an ancillary point, if any. But I think the main point of this movie is this idea that the rich are the ones that are the problem, right? When you have unchecked passion for greed, then people can get hurt. I think it also touches on that the aliens view themselves as superior to the humans, right? And so the same thing, like the rich or the powerful, they view themselves as superior to the poor and the weak. And they think, oh, well, maybe, we can lift everybody up. We can make you evolve into being like we are. But at the end of the movie, they ultimately decide, actually, it's better if we just kill them off because they'll never be like us. And that's after Michelle, the CEO, witnesses the barbaric nature of her captors. I honestly had a really good time with this movie. I think that there's a lot to think about. This movie is definitely worth a rewatch, in my opinion. I'll definitely be checking it out again. And so far, I think it might be a little bit underrated. I think it deserves a little bit more hype, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, those are just some of the thoughts I had after watching the movie. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Let me know what your takeaways were, maybe what you thought the movie was trying to get at. I'd actually really like to hear that. Anyway, if you want to hear more movie commentaries, movie thoughts, music thoughts, feel free to subscribe and check out my channel. Yeah, we're posting once a week. So, till next time.